Yeah, so my name is Jaret. I'm a data scientist at StatBid. Like Shiloh said, it's a digital marketing agency. But I'm not going to talk much about StatBid. Before I joined StatBid, I kind of worked e-commerce side as a data scientist, and I've kind of done a bunch of different kind of research in digital marketing things, done some different tests, and I kind of want to share one of those tests with you, specifically about retargeting. So when I say retargeting, I mean the same thing as remarketing. Specifically for this test, I'm going to talk about display retargeting. So someone's been to your site, and then you follow them around the web with display ads. So that's kind of the thing that I really wanted to put a particular test to. This is a question that always comes up for me for any marketing channel. Is I want to know how much value any given channel drives. I want to know, is it worth the cost that I'm spending on it, and should I be investing more in that channel? Should I be spending less? The answer to that largely depends on what value it's driving, and so you need a good way to try and measure that. So solutions, attribution is kind of the common solution for this, but you need a way to get attribution numbers. There are tools out there. Google Analytics offers a free way you can get attribution, a few different models you can use through them. But even that is still very subjective. Attribution is really just guessing at this relationship of clicks leads to this amount of credit for sales. So a quick thought experiment about how attribution, click-based attribution works. I wonder, could you design a better thing than retargeting to sort of scam click-based attribution? Clients cookie all their users, you pick the ones that are just about to convert, you show a bunch of ads to them, and if they click on them, you get credit for those sales. That's probably unfair and super pessimistic, but I wanted to point out why I think we need to be very critical and not just take attribution at face value when it comes to things like retargeting. And if you talk to a display vendor, they'll actually tell you just the opposite of that. They'll say, we're actually shortchanged by attribution. They'll say there are things called view-through interactions that are not being captured by click-based attribution, and we're not getting enough credit because of that. The view-through, for those who haven't heard of it, is basically this interaction where you see an ad, but you don't click on it because you don't like to click on ads, but it does remind you that you wanted to buy that product or whatever, and you go back to that site through another channel by search or by direct. You just type in an address bar. But in that case, there's no click registered for your display vendor for that ad. It gets no credit on sale. So they would argue that's cheating them because they're not getting credit. But how much is that happening? I mean, the theory makes sense, but can we actually prove that this view-through is happening? And can we measure if it's sort of cheating retargeting out of a lot of conversions? And if so, how much? And how much could we be undervaluing retargeting? If you look at view-through as reported by display vendors, by the way, you'll see huge numbers, and that I'm also very skeptical of. So first thing I want to do is you can track impressions, and we can tie them to users. So let's see if by doing that, we can kind of verify if view-through behavior is happening and how much of it is happening. So with the help of a tool called Polytab, and with the help of Evo.com, who sells ski and snowboard stuff, they let me sort of track their users for about 3 months. And with the help of Polytab, I was able to use an impression pixel, which every time an ad is shown to someone who's been to your site before, a retargeting ad, it tracks it and it logs it in that person's sort of click path. So now I have impressions that's sort of timestamped in the click streams for users. So how do I identify then what a view-through looks like? So I kind of set it up in this definition. That user's been away from the site for a while, they see an ad, and then they click, or they come back to the site, but not by clicking on the ad. That's what a view-through would look like in terms of timestamps. So I set up a very generous definition to try and capture those events happening. This is, I think, going to give more benefit to the possible events. So I set up a few different time windows. So one would be someone's been away from the site for more than an hour, they see an ad, and then they come back to the site within 5 minutes, but not by clicking on the ad. So far, they could also have someone's been away for like 4 days, and they come back within 4 hours of seeing an ad, but again, not clicking on the ad. So I set those windows to try and capture what view-throughs might look like. So by doing that, again, this is about 3 months worth of data for Evo.com. They had about 97,000 regular ad clicks, and only about, by comparison, about 12,000 of these sort of impression-driven visits. And again, this is being very generous with the definition of that. If I treated those as clicks, they would contribute about another $19,000 in revenue, which was maybe another 18% in revenue for them to that particular channel. So that was interesting, but it didn't seem like a lot. And also, this is still based on hypothetical, if I were using it as clicks in an attribution model, which is still subjective, and I like to do things more scientific, more concrete. So I wanted to do something else. I came up with a better plan. An A/B test. Let's treat retargeting like a clinical experiment. We're going to have a control group, and we're going to have a group that we give this special medicine of retargeting to, and we're going to see how they do differently, how those two groups perform differently. So how I did this is using Google Tag Manager. if your retargeting is done implemented through Google Tag Manager, you can set up in Google Tag Manager a random split where half of your users are allowed to be cookied by that pixel and half are not allowed to be cookied. And that basically gives you these two bases now. This one group, which is just completely walled off, like a control group, and the other which is exposed to retargeting. So I did this with Criteo at destinationlighting.com, did about 6 months worth of testing, and this was the data that came out of it. Over the 6 months, I spent about $13,000 on Criteo. Obviously, users are about the same. We see sessions go up for Criteo, that makes sense. They should be driving more clicks. We see purchases go up, we see revenue go up. And then with conversion rate and AOV, it gets a little more interesting. We see, okay, I planned for this, I'm prepared. It's the same slide again. So we see conversion rate go up in the Criteo group. That's basically what we're looking for. We expect retargeting to make it more like a convert. We also saw AOV go up, which was super surprising. I didn't expect that at all. In fact, doing some significance tests, the AOV rise was actually more significant. And at the end of the day, we see revenue per user in the test group went up from $2.95 to $3.15. That's an increase of about 19 cents per user at a cost in that channel of about 3 cents per user. That comes out to an ROI of about 677%. Interestingly, if I look at GA's last click attribution for Criteo over that same period, it only attributes at 123% ROI. That's more than 5 times higher based on this A/B test. So final takeaways are, okay, so back to the view-through thing. We did confirm that it could be happening. There are things that look like it in terms of a timeline relationship, but that was only at most another 15 to 20% of traffic. But the A/B test suggests that 15 to 20% is way off. In fact, it thinks that last click could be undervaluing retargeting by as much as 5 times. So clearly, it seems like there is value to retargeting, but what it is, it's not just view through. There's more to retargeting than the traffic that it drives. And now I get into I have no more numbers, so there's just this theory. I think it's that it has more to do with the passive influence it has on users' likelihood to purchase. And the retargeting is not just about getting people back to the site, but that seeing those ads make people think about the product, more likely to purchase, more front of mind, and even potentially increases order values. That was it. Thank you.